So here's a question for you, for me. What are you willing to die for? What are you willing to die for? Motivated by a vision. If you want a house with $500,000, that's not a vision. That's your personal ambition. That's not the vision of God. Birthed by a conviction. You need to have a clarity moment with Christ and Jesus and God to have this conviction that you are significant to others. Produced by a purpose. The reason that you and I are existed. So here's this. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, generated by passion, motivated by a vision, birthed by a conviction, and produced by a purpose. That's the definition of a leadership that you and I need to come to. So Maxwell talked about the 5 levels of leadership. So what you have in front of you are 2 sheets. There are 2 sheets. You should have 2. Okay. You should have 2. At the very top, one should say issue leadership. Okay. The other one, it's a scale. Okay. So the first page, it looks like this. This first page, it looks like this. So what I'd like you to do at this time is that on the leadership continuum, on a scale 1 to 10, where are you? Okay? Where are you? You could share with another person. You don't have to share with another person. Where are you on a scale 1 to 10, with 10 being the best or the most influential? Where are you on a scale 1 to 10? Okay. So put that down. Maybe 5, maybe 9, maybe 10. But where are you on this continuum? Okay. Number 2, refer back to the second sheet, which is this one right here. It says leadership at the very top. Okay? And there are 3 things that you and I need to talk about. Importance, confidence, and readiness. Importance, confidence, and readiness. So here is the principle that drives you and mine to do this. People like you and me only change on 2 conditions. People like you and me only change in 2 conditions. Either the consequences is too great to bear and you change, or the reward is too good to neglect and you change. That's it. People change only on 2 conditions. So, going down to the first page, those are the 3 criteria that we'll be looking at. And then, on the very bottom, it talked about the 9 steps that you and I need to do to increase maybe 1 more number than you are now. Then next year we meet again. Okay? All right. So let's talk about leadership a little bit. Maxwell talked about the 5 levels of leadership. Maxwell. So that's the blue book. So I want to make sure that every church has a book. And here's why. Maxwell said there is the law of the lid. Like a pot, you have a lid. You and I are the leaders of the church. And we are like the lid. So that means that nobody will get any higher than that. For example, I'm a pastor. None of the people in my church will have greater faith than I am. Nobody in the church will dare to have greater faith than I am. So only if I open this lid and I go higher, then they will come after. Because if I don't, we'll continue to be like that. So here is my challenge for you. Are you willing to open that lid and increase that number? If you don't, we will continue to be like this. Only if you and I are leaders and we are willing to know more, be better, then everybody else will come along. If we're not, we'll be like this. Level 1. Maxwell said, level 1 is position. Position, that means you've been elected to become the deacon of the church. Or you go to work and they said that we are hiring you as a manager, or we're hiring you to do data entry, or whatever that may be. You have a position. In a position, you have the rights and you have the function that comes with it. So, level 1, position. You have the rights. Okay? So, we're going to look at King Solomon's son. Okay? King Solomon has a son. His name is Rehoboam. 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 10 and 11. And this is what he said. Young man who had grown up with Rehoboam replied, "These people have said to you, your father put a heavy yoke on us, but make your yoke lighter. Now tell them," this is what he said. Rehoboam said, "Now tell them, my little finger is thicker than my father's ways. My father laid on you a heavy yoke. I will make it even heavier. My father scourged you with whips. I will scourge you with scorpion." Sons of the most knowledgeable and wise. This is what he said. So he's a classic level 1 leadership. He's a king. He's going to do what he does, and nobody can change his mind. A classic level 1 position, Rehoboam. Are you a level 1 position? I don't know. Nobody knows, but you know. Okay. King Solomon increased taxes on people. Right? King Solomon's son. He wanted to increase taxes on people. And he said, "My father scourged you with whips, but I will scourge you with scorpion." That's a pretty harsh thing for a king to say to his people. Because he has authority and he has rights, and he can do it. Classic level 1. Okay. Maxwell said, okay, then the next level is 2. Simple, isn't it? 1. What comes after 1? 2. Level 2. Level 2 is that we talked about permission. When we talked about permission, we talked about relationship. Right? We talked about relationship. So, Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 17 and 18. Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 17 and 18, he said, "Then I said to them, you see the trouble we are in. Jerusalem lies in ruin, and its gate have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace. I also told them about the gracious hand of my God on me and what the king had said to me. They replied, let us start rebuilding. So they began to work. And they did it in 52 days. In 52 days. Everything God has, it's available to you and to me. Just as available to Nehemiah. Classic level 2 leaders, Nehemiah. Because he can connect it with God's people. When he connected with the people, they see his will and they make it happen. They built the wall, the gate, 12 gates, and then the wall in 52 days. Classic level 2. Are you on level 2? Or are you level 1? Alright? Nehemiah, Maxwell said, okay, then after level 2, we have level 3. Right? Level 3. Level 3, it's all about production. Production. Okay? When we talked about production, because you have done something for the organization. Because you have done something for the organization. You were able to cure people from sickness. You were able to go to church and provide services for people. You were able to provide sermon. You were able to do a number of things. You were able to bring result to the organization. A classic level 3 leaders. It's David, King David. Now the question you have for me and all of us is why is it a king is a level 3 leaders? Why? Let's figure it out. 2 Samuel 8. 2 Samuel chapter 8 verse 15. David reigned over all Israel, doing what was just and right for all his people. He what? He reigned. And he did what's just and right. He was able to do a lot of things for God's people. He was able to kill Goliath. He was able to conquer many armies of the nearby nations. He did something. Classic level 3. Classic level 3. King David. Okay? Now, let's go to level 4. Level 4. Level 4 is all about people development. Okay? Level 4 is all about people development. Because you and I need to bring the production out. Matthew chapter 28, Jesus talked about that you and I ought to go out and make disciples. You may say, what is that all about? But listen to this. Only a disciple can make disciple. If you are not a disciple, you cannot make disciple. Only a disciple can make disciple. Are you a disciple? Because if you are not a disciple, you will produce after your own kind, not God's kind. So only a disciple can make disciple. If you are not a disciple, today, at the end, before tomorrow comes, you need to become a disciple so you can make disciple. If you're not going to make disciple. Okay? Classic level 4 leaders. Paul. Ajan Pongo. Paul. So 2 Timothy chapter 2, we read verse 1 and 2. You then, my son, this is Paul talking to Timothy. You then, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus, and all the things you have heard me saying in the presence of my many witnesses, and trust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. Only a disciple can make disciple. If you're not a disciple, you need to become disciple so you can make disciple, so you're qualified to teach others. This is what Paul said. Are you qualified to teach others? Paul developed Timothy. Okay, so here's the other principle. I teach what I know. I teach what I know, but I develop what I do. I teach what I know, but I develop what I do. Classic level 4, it's no longer about teaching. Classic level 4, it's all about making disciples. And Paul did that because he developed through what he's doing. Classic level 4. We teach what we know. We do. We develop what we do. Are you willing to do the things so that other people can see and then you can make something happen? Okay. Level 5. Level 5. Level 5, it's all about you and me when we get to that stage. Level 1, level 2, level 3, it's all about people give it to you and to me. Okay? People give it to you and to me. Level 1, 2, and 3. And some to level 4. But when on the level 5, people just give it to you. Like Jesus. Jesus didn't really say, I am your leader. They want him. They want him to be the leader. Classic level 5 people are personhood. And when you get to that stage, you don't want respect, people are going to give it to you. When you get to that stage, people will give their respect to you because of what you do. Today, I know that we don't have much time, but let me summarize a bit and we will go to the exercise. Today we talked about 5 levels of leadership. Where are you on this continuum? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Because level 1 is all about position. And you have the rights. Level 2, it's all about giving the permission, and then you have the relationship. Level 3, it's all about production, and then you have reason. And level 4, it's all about people development. So here's the other principle. We cannot grow if we don't make disciples. We cannot grow if we don't make disciples. We have to make disciples. But in order to make disciples, we need to become disciples so we can make disciples. And level 5, it's all about being who you are, the intended intention that God created you and me at the end. So let me close with this and we go to the exercise. A bunch of people, wise and unwise, they came to Jesus trying to trick Jesus. And they said, Jesus, should we pay taxes? Right? Should we pay taxes? And Jesus said, well, any one of you has a coin. Anybody of you has a coin. And in that very coin, whose image is on that? And they said, what? Caesar's. And Jesus said, well, then that's, if it's Caesar's, give it to Caesar's. Pay tax. But Jesus said, what is it, God, that you need to give to God? Whose image is on you? Whose image is on you? That should be the question that you and I asked this morning. Whose image is on me? Is it an animal? Or is it just a dust out of 1,000 years and become a man? Or whose image is on me? And Jesus made that very clear. And in the beginning, God created man and woman in his own image.